How are you guys? Great to be back with you. You're right, my Milwaukee Bucks. I had been telling you guys all season, look, once a Nick, always a Nick, but my Bucks were rolling. Thought they could be a special group, and look at this. Somehow they found a way to win a Game 7 in Brooklyn, a Game 6 in Atlanta, and now they're down by 1 game to Phoenix, but these boys are rolling.
They are looking incredible. I mean, and on top of that, that atmosphere in Milwaukee, Deer District, has been the talk of the basketball and finals landscape. You get a front row seat to see those fans on home games, away games. It don't matter. There's tens of thousands of people out there. Tell me what it's like seeing that firsthand.
It really is pretty cool. Obviously, for it to be a small market team that's doing it big in the finals, it's been 47 years since the Milwaukee Bucks have been in the finals. And so just the other night when they got a win at home, it was almost 50 years since anybody in Milwaukee had seen a finals game in this town. So it was pretty special. And like you said, Deer District, the area right outside Fiserv Forum, outside the arena, it holds up to 25,000 people on a normal game day. And even when the team is on the road, there's 25,000 people out there watching. Shouldn't say people, crazy Bucks fans out there watching the game on screens. And so it's been pretty crazy. And it's really the same for home games as well. There's 18,000 people inside, and there's even more people outside drinking way more beer than anyone anywhere in the
world. A lot of Milwaukee's best is getting poured out there, I can imagine.
I'm sure. All right, Novi, that's enough of the pleasantries in terms of the ambiance. Let's talk the basketball and the mystery that sometimes your squad continues to be. What is it with Game 3s for this team? We saw statistically that Chris Middleton in particular, until last night's Game 3, had been averaging 10 points better in Game 3s in particular. This team seems to get off to slow starts in series, and then Game 3 happens. What is the deal?
You know, I think part of it, honestly, is Chris Middleton. He is a perimeter player. He's a perimeter shooter. He is going to be one of those guys that has nights where he goes 2 for 15 and other nights where he goes 10 for 15. And so I do think there is a learning curve and there are adjustments. That's all you ever hear about in the playoffs is making adjustments. And it's not just the coaching staff and coverages. It's guys figuring out how to play against the guys they're going against, because the finals, it's the last 2 teams in the NBA. And there's no question it is a battle of wills. And so I think, like you said, in Game 3s, Chris Middleton has been playing better. And I think it really is him finding a way to get his shot off, him finding a way to get the ball in the right spots. Drew Holiday getting him the ball in certain plays so he can get his shot off. And so thank God he has gotten hot in some of these Game 3s, because there have been games, no question, in this series, Game 1 and Game 2. Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton did not play great. Giannis was pretty darn good, but thank goodness he got it going, because Giannis, he had himself a big game, but he needed some help from the supporting cast for sure.
Novi, in the genesis of MSG AM, when Giannis signed that extension to stay in Milwaukee, you came on the show and said he could run for mayor tomorrow and win. After Game 3, I'm sure he could be the emperor of Wisconsin if he feels like it, because he was balling in Game 3, and that's been a running theme this entire playoffs. Talk to me about the sheer domination of Giannis Antetokounmpo.
You know, it really has been special to watch. Look, no player, there's only been 2 players in NBA history that have had back-to-back finals games with 40 points and 10 rebounds. Giannis did that the last 2 games. He had 42 points in Game 2, and he had 41 points just last game. And so, to be honest, this Bucks team, this Bucks franchise, there is no chance they are anywhere near where they are at without Giannis. I know that's obvious. But when you think about the steps that he took to show faith in this organization, to stay here, to sign not a 1 year plus 1, he signed a 5-year extension. Drew Holiday came to this team. Chris Middleton wanted to stay and be with this team. Guys like Bobby Portis, I think, are playing the way that they are playing because of the way Giannis works and because of his energy. He's a special player, and I think his presence and getting to watch him, obviously you see how special he is, but the Giannis effect is very real. It is in effect, and the fact that he has got this team in the finals like he said he would do, didn't want to build a crazy recruit guys and get guys to come to Milwaukee. He wanted to do it the organic way, and it's pretty crazy. He's backing it up with 42 and 41 point nights. So if he can keep that rolling, Phoenix could be in trouble.
I think the likelihood that he keeps that rolling is probably pretty high, as long as he doesn't fall in love with them jumpers, especially those threes.
Please
but
stop shooting threes.
Let's talk supporting cast, though. Novi, because it was interesting. At the end of the regular season, I was one of those folks, and I've heard many of a hoop analysts talk about how Drew Holiday at the 1 spot set the table naturally for this Bucks squad. Then we got into the playoffs, particularly deeper into the playoffs, between the Eastern Conference Finals and the 3 finals games we've seen now. I'm hearing more he's a true 2-guard tweener. When you assess Drew Holiday's place on this squad, where do you see him?
You know, he really is an extension of Coach Bud. I think he's the guy that is out there facilitating so much. And I think, to be honest, point guards don't get enough credit in this league. I mean, they have the ball in their hands, and they're also asked to score. They're asked to average 9, 10, 11 assists. They're often, in Drew's case, asked to guard a lot of times the best player on the other team. And so Drew is definitely, I wouldn't just say just a point guard, just a shooting guard, but there is no question. Giannis, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, Chris Middleton, those guys go as Drew is going to allow them to go. He's going to get them the ball in transition. He's willing to throw it ahead. He does make the simple play. Sometimes there's point guards that they only want to throw the assist, the pass that they know is going to be a quick assist under the hoop. Drew is making that right play. And so I do think if you were going to call him a shooting guard more or a tweener or a point guard, I do think he's a point guard, but almost a hybrid because of how much else he brings you. I think defensively it just can't be ignored how good he was against KD in the Brooklyn series, what he's doing to Devin Booker in this series, holding him to just 3 makes last game. He has help. PJ Tucker is out there doing work as well, but Drew Holiday is a special talent. The Bucks gave up a ton to get him, gave him a big-time extension. It was because they expected him to perform, and so he's keeping it rolling when it really matters most. Even though he was quiet for the first 2 games, Game 3 he stepped up.
Now, Novi, you mentioned it just for a second there about Devin Booker being held to 3 makes. And obviously, we love to see Holiday's contribution on offense, Chris Middleton's contribution on offense. But stopping a guy like Devin Booker, who's been playing the best basketball of his young career in these playoffs, was paramount for them to winning Game 3. Tell me what you saw the Bucks do to slow down that young superstar.
Yeah, look, the Bucks are a defensive team. They've been a defensive team all year, especially since All-Star break. And, I mean, for example, I think to really show what this Bucks team has been capable of doing is you look at that Brooklyn series, and KD pretty much did not miss in that series. It seemed like he was just the guy. He was going to get his buckets. At home, he was going to be pretty much impossible to stop. But the Bucks, specifically PJ Tucker, Drew Holiday, Brook Lopez, Giannis, big-time defenders. They wear guys down and eventually get them to miss. Chris Paul has not missed yet, it seems, in this series. But the Bucks finally were able to crack Devin Booker, got him to just make 3 shots last game, which is a big deal. Obviously, the series shifted from Phoenix to Milwaukee. But it took until the Game 7 and almost, I think it might have been the last shot of the series against Brooklyn for KD to finally miss an airball of 3. And it seemed like all that work by PJ, all that work by Drew, it finally paid off in a Game 7 win against KD. They finally wore him out. And so we may be starting to see that happen with Devin Booker. There's no question he's a special player. He can get hot at any time, so we will see. But PJ Tucker and Drew Holiday on the perimeter, the defense they're playing is very real, and it's going to have to continue if the Bucks are going to win a championship.